It is Oaks Day in Louisville, and as a real estate agent, when you're not going to the tracks, you actually get to enjoy a little bit of quiet. And the rule of thumb around here is kind of that you always plant your flowers on Derby weekend. So it's Friday, and nobody's coming at me today, so I decided to put our boxes together today, and we can talk about real estate. Now, this is where I'm not good at this, so we're gonna break that up. Now, preface, I do not know what the heck I'm doing. I saw this pretty basket. I like the pink, so we're gonna stick it in here and we're gonna learn as we go, sometimes like we do in real estate. I have no idea what the names of these flowers are. The goal is to keep them alive. Even my daughter this morning said, are you gonna be able to keep them alive? And I told her, no, that's gonna be your job. Somebody was asking me the other day, like, what's some crazy stories? People always love crazy stories, and we definitely have our fair share of them. When I'm sitting here thinking about it, it's like, sometimes it just feels like everyday life, right? In real estate, it doesn't really seem that crazy because it's kind of what we deal with regularly every day. Now, we were getting a house ready to list last week, and I even made a post about this or a comment about this, that like when you hire an agent, you're not just hiring them to put a sign in the yard and do all of that. You're hiring them to help you navigate the waters when, for lack of better words, the shit hits the fan, or when you need somebody to come kind of rescue you because you're in full-on panic mode. So we have a house that we were listing, supposed to be next week. Photos were supposed to be today. We had that big storm, which is pretty common in April. And they had water come in the basement, which, people always ask me like, oh, I'm worried about a basement, like, it's going to leak. And, basements are one of those things. It's really not a matter of like, does it leak? It's really a matter of like when it's going to leak, because it's going to happen. It's a hole in the ground. Now you want to try to find one that has less likelihood of leaking. How we doing here? I feel like I need to spread these apart. And so anyways, this basement leaked. This was Wednesday night at she called me in the afternoon. I got a hold of Mike over our Champion, my contact over at Champion's Waterproofing and Piering, texted him, said, Mike, I need you. We're supposed to be listing this house. Photos on Friday. And he was there by noon the next day, had a quote to us that morning, and we are on the books by Tuesday of next week to get it done. There's absolutely no delay in the listing. We fixed the problem. We hadn't solved it yet. That's going to be up to him, but we at least put ourselves in a position to not be delayed. And that is what an agent can really help you with along the way. When I was early, I don't know, it was probably 2015 or 16, so I had only been in real estate for a couple of years. Had some friends of mine asked me to list their house, and they were moving out of town. And so their house was going to be listed vacant for a bit of time. And so they naturally were like, well, hey, can you keep an eye on things for us while we're gone? And of course I'm like, absolutely, we'll come by, we'll keep an eye on it, make sure everything is good with the house. And so no problem. It was totally fine to do. Well, things got busy. I didn't go by. It was maybe a total of 2 weeks. I don't know exactly what the time period of it was, but I went by the house to check on it, and the dishwasher had leaked at some point in that 2-week period that I did not look at the house. And of course, like I had told my clients I would keep an eye out on it, and felt like it was my responsibility to have caught that. And there were hardwood floors in the kitchen area. So when the dishwasher had leaked, the water had sat on the hardwood floors for, I don't know how many days it ended up being, but whenever water sits on hardwood, that's never good. And so I just morally felt like it was my responsibility. So I told them that I would pay to have the hardwood floors replaced. I had them completely fixed and taken care of because I had said that I would take care of something, and I didn't feel like I did. Now, I learned from that situation that you have to be really careful what you're telling your clients you are willing to do. So I am very cautious at this day and age about telling them how I will take care of their home while they're out of town. And I kind of usually just position it as, these are the risks that you have when you list your house without somebody being there or if things come up. So I did learn that lesson early on. I took care of it, but I never made that mistake again. I feel like we're in a people service industry, right? So service, I guess is subjective, right? Like how, depending on the kind of restaurant that you go to, like you want to go to fine dining or do you want to go to, Schlotsky's Deli? Nothing against Schlotsky's Deli, but like, so that's kind of how, like, it's my choice on how I want to service my clients. And to me, that's not, to me, it would be more exhausting the other way, frankly, because, I gotta put my head on my pillow at night, and I have my daughters who, like, you're teaching them, it's like kind of your moral compass of like, how do you live and navigate this world? Like you give good, you put good out into the world, good usually comes back to you. So it's not, is it exhausting? Sure. Exhausting wouldn't be the word that I would use, because in some ways, it's invigorating because you're helping somebody that feels like they're, eyes wide, deer in the headlights. You're helping them, get through that, right? And that feels good. Like the more good you give, like the better you feel, right? And so that's kind of how I look at it. Like this is just an opportunity for me to serve people and treat people right and do them right, and that makes me feel good. Okay, I might have dirt out of this one to fill up this one over here. Now, I'll tell you a little bit of tidbit. I don't know who told me this. Has nothing to do with real estate. Don't get the impression that I actually know what the heck I'm doing with any of these flowers, because if you looked at my yard, you would know that I don't. But because you get these big planters like this, somebody told me to cut up a pool sponge, like one of those noodles, and you cut them up into pieces that big and you put them on the bottom to fill them up, and it keeps the planters light, and then you fill them with the dirt. So there's actually pool noodles in the bottom of this. I saw this on Instagram one time, and they said to put this like this and then put the dirt around it, and then you take it out. So we bought our house over here. We were in the heart of the Highlands for many years. We bought our house pre-kids and outgrew it after 3, not quickly, actually, we did pretty well. But my parents used to live, I found my parents' house before I even had my real estate license. I was coming home from Lakeside one afternoon. They moved here after my second was born in 2013. And I was driving home and saw like a storage pod in the driveway of the house. And I was like, oh my God, this looks perfect. So I totally like stalked the house and, went up there and put my eyes in the window. And was like, I ran home. They were living with us at the time, trying to figure out where they were going to move. And we went and wrote the letter, put the picture of the grandkids, there with them, and went to the house and left the note on the door. And they called us back, and we ended up being able, I didn't have anything to do with it. They ended up buying the house off market and moved over there. So this house that we're in right now sits next to their house, but it's on a huge lot. It's like on 1.6 acres. So we would always leave notes on this house, but so did everybody else in Louisville, because where do you find 1.6 acres on a flat lot in the middle of the Highlands? You don't find it. So when they were listing this house, the agent didn't know that I was an agent, so he came over to my parents' house and said, hey, we're gonna be listing the property. We know you all have left notes on it, blah, 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 blah. So we didn't have any inside scoop on it, but we did have a heads up that it was coming. And we bought it, when you're always thinking about real estate at this time. So this was 2018, maybe it was 2017 when it listed. I just saw this as an opportunity where we could either build our dream house if we wanted to, or have the opportunity to do something with the land if and when the time came. So we bought this house thinking we were going to renovate it because it was built in 1978, and it needed, basically, when we bought it, everything that was put in it in 1978 was still in it. So it needed a complete gut and overhaul. So we bought it thinking we weren't going to be living in it very long, that we were going to sell it so that we could subdivide the land and build basically our dream house. And I don't know what year is this now, 2026, is that 8 years? 8 years later, we're still sitting here. But we just learned that we loved the privacy. We are way off of the road. So I get to feel like I'm in the country, but I'm in this, right smack dab in the city. When I look around off my back porch or my front porch, I don't look at another house for the most part. And it's great with our kids. They've been able to run around. Land is not going to decrease around here, so it's not going to hurt us to hold on to it. But it's just a really special property, and we knew that when we saw it. We were in big competition with everybody else. I think they listed it the first weekend. They ended up, I think, with like 4 offers on it, and the sellers were overwhelmed. It was the daughters of the folks that lived here. So it was their parents who had passed away, and they were selling the house because they all lived out of state. And so they just felt overwhelmed. So they wanted to wait another week to make a decision. And then in that week, I think they ended up with 7 more offers. So it ended up with being a total of 11 offers on the table. We had to do all the crazy things. We did, went over list a lot. I never even had an inspection on this house. I was like, doesn't matter, we're gutting everything. And that's nothing that I saw. You just have a good feeling about a house like when you walk in. And that's was always a reminder that I tell my clients, like, you're gonna have a wish list of things that you want in your next house, but like you're gonna have a feeling about a house when you walk into the space. And whenever an agent or a real estate agent moves, it's just a good reminder of that, because when we walked into the house, even though it had green carpet, wallpaper on every wall, there wasn't a hardwood floor anywhere in the house. I mean, everything had to be gutted. Nothing is original in this house, with the exception of the HVAC system. That thing's still going. And you just know. You just walk in and you're like, this is it. So it's just a good reminder to do that. And you're like, I don't care about anything. So we didn't do inspections. We didn't do anything. Financing was going to be the biggest hurdle because it was such a unique property that all the value rested in the land, not in the house. But we got it worked out. So it's been great. All right, let's see how we do, friends. Oh, shoot. Watch this, baby. Now I think I'm supposed to flop. But I do think I'm supposed to break all this up. This purdy, this good. I love this yellow. That made me happy. And then I'm gonna sprinkle a little blue in here. What do we think? Yellow and blue. I mean, can you go wrong? I don't feel like you can, but I do feel like I've gotta root these boogers. They're gonna be mad at me. Not bad. Not bad. So thanks for tagging along with us this morning as we talked real estate, planting flowers around Derby time here in Louisville. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, if you love home tours, we've got plenty of those on our page.